Hello, good evening. You're welcome to Opinion Sharers. My name is Paul, and you're welcome again on this platform. If you've been a friend or one way or another following our activities on this platform, you would have noticed that we often discuss a lot of issues that have to do with socio-political issues in Nigeria and Africa and whatever it is that affects Nigerians around the world. And so it's election season, and in the last 3 weeks, we've been talking about aspirants from different political platforms. We've talked about APC, even though we narrowed it down to Vice President Oshibajo versus Tinubu. We've talked last week. We talked about Peter Obi and Atiku. We also talked about. I think we talked about three of them from PDP. And today we are going to be talking about Omoyele Sowore versus Professor Kingsley Moghalu and Dr. Favour Ayodele. But since something happened that I believe we need to also talk about, so we don't ignore our schedule, that's why we're going to, first of all, briefly talk about Deborah, the girl that was killed, unfortunately, in Kano. 2 days, is it 2 days ago or yesterday?
In Sokoto.
Oh, in Sokoto, thank you. Yeah, the lady that was killed in Sokoto, the student of one college of education there that was killed. And I am particularly disturbed and worried because this happened in an institution, killing carried out by would-be teachers in Nigeria. Okay, these are people, young boys and girls that are being prepared to become teachers, professional teachers in Nigeria, because I also passed through that profession and training. So I was surprised, imagine me when I was in Adeyemi, seeing people stoning somebody like that, a fellow student, and they burnt her, So I have not really gathered myself since that yesterday. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to also talk about these political aspirants. But before we do that, let's quickly go share the link and invite people. So we will take a few seconds. Normally, it has become our tradition kind of. So I'm taking my phone now. And invite people. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna be sharing now. Please do share widely as much as possible. Okay, I can see that Timlain and Village Boy have shared. Okay. Okay, I think we should go to the subject of discussion. Before we go to the political issue, I want us to talk about this killing of Deborah and the issue of religious killings in Nigeria. It is not new, it is not new, especially in the north, in northern Nigeria. And I was talking to somebody just some minutes ago, and the person was saying, why am I surprised? And the reason I'm surprised is because I feel like we've developed. We are supposed to be moving, as a people, as a society, and it is also much more pathetic because this happened in an educational environment. On this platform, we are advocates of education. Okay, we are big advocates and supporters of education, and if the education sector or the students in Nigeria have not grown to the level where you understand that you cannot kill a fellow student just because whatever she said, I am worried about that. So and our guests will be sharing their opinion. And I noticed that also. Let me say this: I noticed that a lot of people in Nigeria are scared, to make opinions about it. We've seen even politicians such as big as Atiku, they had to delete his own comments, his own posts on the social media, and made a video that was posted. I saw on Instagram this afternoon, debunking that message was posted by people that are managing his social media handle, and normally everything has to come through him, but this one did not come through him. So that he was trying to call attention back to when Obasanjo was going to approve Sharia law, and he was against it because he knows what it means. But he actually did not talk about this Deborah. And I also took my time to go and look through the social media handles of majority of the politicians that we are going to be, some of them we are going to be talking about tonight. And I noticed also, I went to Sowore's Twitter handle. He didn't post it on Twitter handle. Went to Professor Moghalu's handle. He didn't post anything about it. I went to Peter Obi's handle. He didn't post anything about it. I went to Professor Oshibajo's handle. They didn't post anything about it on their personal social media handles. Now, later this evening again, I saw that Sowore had posted about it on YouTube. Okay, on YouTube, not on his Twitter handle. He has almost 700,000 followers. Peter Obi has about 900,000 followers. So I don't know. I mean, it was so bad that Atiku, a old vice president, would have to go and remove whatever he has said. Meanwhile, I saw a video also saying that Professor Yemi Oshibajo condemned it. If you see what the Nigerian government put out, it was like stylishly even blaming the girl, that they would have allowed the course of the law. Which law? Anyway, that's just my opinion. I am disturbed. I am disappointed. I am heartbroken because we have lost somebody who would have become a teacher, especially in the side of the country where there are more than 10 million children out of school. It's a shame. It's an embarrassment to us, all of us as Nigerians. Anyway, I'm sorry that we are not introducing ourselves. I did not ask us to introduce ourselves. So if you still want to introduce yourself, please go ahead. Let's start with Village Boy. And if you want to just make your opinion about this one, please let's go ahead and do it.
Well, thank you very much. I think we should go straight to the business of the day. It is unfortunate, as you have said, that the political heavyweights mooted on the issue that is as important as this. On one hand, the issue of fanaticism is very rampant in the north. Without lose sense of responsibility, I live there, I school there, I work there. I understand all those things that are still going on there. I have even documented it that most of the schools in the north are forbidden from having a full-fledged course on philosophy, so that their thinking is not altered. There's an absence of critical thinking in that part of the country, and to me it was like a deliberate policy over a period of time. So people are more emotional than rational in their actions. Yes, that was a standard of learning that this happened, makes it look very distasteful. But then to me, maybe because of my knowledge or my understanding of stuff like that around there, I am not too surprised that it happened. The school has a security system. They could have called help from outside. The report we are reading was that the mob overwhelmed the security apparatus, which is itself doesn't make much sense. There's a tacit approval by the environment for such kind of jungle justice. And yes, this was it. The Sultanate wrote the 2-3 paragraphs says they want to investigate. So we want to investigate. What does it really cost? Will it bring back the life of that person back? And most of the voice note they were clicking, they were showing us playing the reaction of the lady. What the lady was responding to, nobody they didn't show that, which means there was also a deliberate attempt to give us half truth. So we don't know what happened. We know, okay, she complained that why are you posting all these things in the WhatsApp group that's supposed to be for academic purposes, and he was now saying that okay, nothing will happen to them. That must have been. I mean, there was some information in between that were kind of literally shop off. So the what happened to Atiku, for instance? Let me pick Atiku for instance. It shows how the no, the other week here I was telling you that Atiku is a dealer, and dealers don't like to offend people. Dealers don't like to offend people. So now this is the kind of person who wants to be the president of Nigeria or the president of the North. That part of by geographical learning, even the lady that died was supposed to be was a northerner, just like she happened to be a Christian. So if you are the president of Northern, that doesn't mean that you are now saying that you are afraid to protect the interests of Christian in the North. Not to talk of protecting the interests of Nigerians. So he has, by that, I mean, in a decent environment, he has confirmed that he's not capable to lead Nigeria because of his unbiased, biased mindset. It is even very ridiculous and an insult to our collective intellect to say that okay, it was his handlers that posted it. So all the other way they have been posting, has he come to denounce them? Has he come to tell us that they were his handlers? Because when those ones are being followed and they are being shared widely and they went viral, he has he not been happy that they were posted. So that is like an escapist argument that it was the seller that did that. It is very annoying. Yes, maybe the other politicians they are trying to tread carefully, but they're afraid. So it's unfortunate we have become cowardice, because we are looking for election, we are looking for acceptance. So even the issue of the law taking on this course, what did the lady do that would do that would have been warranted going to court in the first place? I mean, and even the so-called Sharia law that is in the other part of Nigeria, there's a clause there that those who have other faith have the choice not to be tried under Sharia law. These are the things that people don't know. So it is not as if Sharia law is applicable to everybody that live in the north. It is only applicable for those who practice Islamic religion. In most of their law, Sharia law as approved by their state assembly, it is that clause has always been there, that those who belong to other faith can elect not to be tried under Sharia law. So it is like Paul said, it's very annoying, very, very annoying. It shows that we have politicians that cannot cater for the vulnerable member of the society. And what kind of leadership does that mean if you cannot cater for those who cannot protect themselves? Let me pause before I get angry like Paul.
Thank you. Michael.
Thank you so much, and good evening, our viewers. I'm Michael by name, and let me also join my voice to that of others in actually, should I say, mourning our late sister, a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who actually met untimely death. It's quite unfortunate that that happened. It's something that is really avoidable in a society where law has effect. But the young lady called Deborah, she's gone. Her parents, they are in dilemma, and of course, those Nigerians who actually are really touched with the situation. Also, they are feeling like, oh, it shouldn't have been. But we it is equally worrisome that as of this afternoon, the situation has degenerated to another thing entirely in Sokoto, because now there we have media report that some locations they are experiencing inferno at the moment. That there's an alleged report now that three churches rather, two Catholic churches, church, and one Equa church already set ablaze, and some shops are already been looted. All because there is a demand that those who are suspected to have killed the young lady, there's the protest that those set of people should be arrested. Well, it is. I would continue to say that it is sad that things are going this way in 21st century society. And when we look at it holistically as well, I believe that it's something, because Mr. Paul made mention of something that in a civilized society, and I beg to differ that Nigeria is still, in a developed society. I think that was a comment he made, and I beg to differ, not even partially but totally, that Nigeria is quite underdeveloped, and I only hope, because I won't say I pray, I only hope that the situation, because I always love to hammer on Bishop as a Kuka statement that hope is the only commodity that we actually have as far as Nigeria is concerned. But by and large, with all the happenings in the country currently, I think I'm scared. I hardly get scared about situation, but I'm deeply worried and I'm scared about Nigeria, particularly as we gravitate towards 2023 general elections, because all of these elements put together, the one currently going on in Sokoto, and even just before I actually joined this conversation, I was also reading a press release. I don't know how genuine that is, that the Kaduna state government already issued a statement that whoever actually protests in the state, uh, we actually have to face the wrath of the Lord, and that may be an extension of what is happening in Sokoto at the moment. So I think I'm actually deeply worried, because I'm quite emotional at the moment, because I can't imagine my own. Yes, she's my sister, because as a Nigerian, she's my sister, and I can't imagine such happening to me directly, as in my own biological sister, how the situation will be in my family at the moment. We can only pray that God, in His infinite goodness, will grant our parents the fortitude to bear the loss. And we also hope, I can always say that over and over again, hope that those who have such a mindset, finding it quite very cheap to unleash mayhem on fellow human beings, I can only hope that may they also find a renewal of mind. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Tosin, no, sorry, I wanted to ask this question to Timileyin specifically. Reason is because Timileyin recently was a student in Nigeria, okay? And you would have observed that I often post these kind of questions to you deliberately. The question is this: what is the meaning of the education received in Nigeria if this kind of mentality remain very popular? I mean very, very popular. See, I spent almost half of my free time yesterday scrolling on Twitter, okay, responding specifically. I go to all the major posts about this issue. I'm just studying, trying to understand the mentality of the average northerner, including the elites. I was even surprised when I saw what this guy Sonny what he posted. Was it this morning I saw that? Well, they have created another post trying to post that there was a doctor who has a name, a Yoruba name, English name, and Igbo name together. I had posted that when he was serving in the north, he had allowed many Hausa people to die because their life actually does not worth anything before he relocated to the UK. And they are trying to create a scenario to make it look like, okay, you people are also bad. And for the purpose, the benefit of our viewers, I want you to know that this is not because some people are Christian or some people are Muslim. I don't care about your religion. I don't care about whom you believe. This is about humans. It's about the fact that we all have equal right in that country as citizens. You don't have right to kill anybody regardless of what they say. So, Timley, I'm saying, what is the relevance of our education in today's world? If people are still killing another person because they think he talks about their prophet or he talks about their religion, they will literally kill you. I saw the video, I still can't, take it away from myself. Anyway, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. It's just like Michael and the village boy had actually truly said that the situation is really unfortunate. The incident itself is not supposed to be happening at all. Like I will quote Michael, it is very avoidable. I think the problem is not really about the education, because you would see people from that region who have actually studied and even attained the highest ranks in academic, professors who are really not saying anything that you expect of someone that is least educated, I
Exactly.
have
That's
seen.
that's why I'm posing this question to you, because I saw people who are highly read. You would think that they are even people who are professor or doctor in their name. They are still saying that
Absolutely.
if you say anything about their prophet, it is a red line. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking these people are insane.
Yeah. So there is a problem where cultural, ethnic, and religious education trumps, the conventional education that we know, because these are the people that, no matter how well read they are, you cannot change their mentality. And that's that's a red line. That's a very red flag for a society. Okay, now I think I read something from that the chief imam of Abuja, I don't know if it's Abuja or Aso Rock, said yesterday that
Central
that
Mosque,
comment
Abuja.
is really ridiculous. It's really ridiculous from someone that is supposed to be a leader, for someone that is supposed to be well read. That I think is a professor. So so it's really unfortunate. And another thing is that this thing did not just happen in just any place in Sokoto. It happened in an educational setting, number one. Number two, the people that carried it out are students of that institution, who are supposed to be people being, groomed to be mentors of young people later in the future. They are being trained for that, to teach people, to mold people's destiny. Another problem is that they were very, very confident in their, I don't know that what they were doing was fair and was just and was logical, because they filmed themselves and then posted it. And that person there is one guy that actually took responsibility, that he was even showing the matchstick, that I was the one that set her ablaze. That tells you a lot about the society we are in. So I don't really think it's about education, because if we talk about education, people have gone even outside the shores of Nigeria to study. But the problem is deep-rooted ethnic issue, religious issue, knowledge that cannot be erased, and that is really I think that is, I don't know, I think it's really similar to what the Boko Haram is saying, that people should not get Western education because it would erode, I don't know, it will erode whatever education they have from their religion. So I think like I've just said summarily, it is not about education. See, whatever people do in that country, whether the southern people or the northern people, it is very, very, very related to religion. Very related to religion, because I've seen people who are well read and still make illogical statements, make you know, actions that are unheard of, that are not, you know. So, but it is really disturbing that this happened in an educational setting. It happened, you know, and the people that carried it out, they are students. They are supposed to be trained to become trainers, like village boy will always say. They are supposed to be trained to become trainers. So this tells you a lot about the future of that country if something, you know, is not done urgently. This is a drastic situation, and we are talking about our politicians, people who cannot make objective statements in times like this. As candidates or aspirants, they cannot make any difference when they have power, because the power they have now is the followership they have on social media. The power they have now is the voice that many people will hear when they speak, but they are not even using that. How do you expect them now not to be biased when they get to office? So this is to tell you that they will always play the game of politics, even with human lives. And that sends a very disturbing note to every reasonable Nigerian.
All right, thank you very much. Tosin, I'd like to quickly take your opinion on this before we go to politics. What's your take? You also lived in the north, right? Are you still expecting him to this kind of thing? Just like you, the village boy also lived in the north. Okay, so you guys have seen this kind of thing, so it's probably not new to you. But do you expect it to still be happening in 2020?
Yeah, I don't expect that to be still happening in 2020, but I also expect it to happen. The reason is this, and the reason is this: for a while now, we the president we have, the body language, the administration we have now all around Nigeria, they are a bunch of incompetent people that don't punish bad behavior and don't seems to reward good behavior. And in a society where you have such things, anything can happen. What happened to that lady is barbaric. But I can tell you, I've seen while we're on the show now, suffering through Facebook, I've seen more disturbing videos of attack on people in Sokoto State. And it is very disheartening that they have a governor and all this is happening even under him. When people gather themselves together and they said we are tired of a particular set of the country or a particular religion in the country oppressing us, and we need to get our own nation, and Oduduwa nation and Yoruba nation, everybody was making mockery of them. But I think with what is happening now, we are all beginning to believe that we cannot, it will be very difficult for us to keep on living together in the same country with this type of people. If we don't have the same goal, same objective, the same reasoning, we don't see things the same way. We have Muslims in Yoruba land, but I don't think they can behave that way. So this is one of the reasons some people just say, okay, no, we want to stay apart. We are not saying we are angels, and immediately we get Yoruba nation or Oduduwa nation, everything will become heaven. No, we are not saying that, but we are saying that living together in the same country with people of different objective, opinion, ideas, and views, it is not going to work. Every right-thinking Nigeria from yesterday until today, with what we have today now, the continuous violence in Sokoto State, every right-thinking Nigeria now are thinking, everybody is beginning to accept what we have been saying, that the country should be divided. We are not saying that the country will be divided and every part now will become heaven, but we are tired of staying with a set of people that their beliefs, their mentality doesn't work with our own. Imagine if this is happening in an higher institution. What will happen with the Admajiris on the street that have not been to school? If this is happening in the citadel of education, what will now happen if it is the ones on the street? And I want to tell you that the ones on the street are more violent, more dangerous than even those ones in school. So the situation we find ourselves as a country is a pitiful one, especially the governor of Sokoto State is not doing a good job. If he will allow, there was notice that there's going to be protest for the release of those guys today, and the governor does not take any drastic step to stop those, and thereby jeopardizing the life of other citizens in that state. It is very disheartening. And if other northern states, their governors should, I see a while ago that the governor of Kaduna State has declared that there should not be any religious protest in Kaduna State. That's a good one. Other people, other governors in northern states should follow suit, so that we will not have what we have some years ago, where there will be religious fighting and killing, unnecessary killings. Imagine people, students, your fellow students stoning her, a lifeless body, still stoning her, then burnt it. For what? For what? It is disheartening. And I even after this election, or during this election, everyone that have once disagreed that Oduduwa Nation, all the people that are saying Oduduwa Nation, we will start coming to agree with us that staying with these people, it is not, there is no way Nigeria will move forward as a whole. There's no way. Maybe if we have another president, but the number of errors we have on ground already, the number of errors, the number of out of school kids in the north, we will need a superhuman to fix that country.
Well, the problem is that I don't know where that superhuman will come from. You know, I don't know where the superhuman that will fix Nigeria is going to come from. And really, when I saw this thing yesterday, I quickly remember the Tosin and the Oduduwa and some people. You know, that this is when this is the kind of thing that happen that makes it appealing. Really. Even though I'm not in Nigeria, but I don't want this kind of a thing happening in my own country. It is gruesome. My friend in the US sent me a video this evening. That one was even worse. I saw people, they tie their hand in their back and they slaughter them, use cutlass to cut their heads and separate their heads and pack their heads like I mean, that's happening in Nigeria, in the north. I don't understand, really. So that's why I've written it severally on since yesterday on Twitter, that because many northerners, not educated northerners, believe that this kind of blasphemy is okay, as is reason why the army cannot defeat the Boko Haram and other Islamic militia groups.
That's right.
It's appalling. Anyway, I guess we have to move on now. It's unfortunate that we have to move on, but it is what it is. We have to. So we will talk about the road to 2023, and we have aspirants, young people who are, relatively young aspirants. They are not that young. They are perhaps in their 50s. So they are not that young. So we have Omoyele Sowore, Professor Moghalu, and there's this man, Dr. Favour Ayodele. I've not really known much about him, but I think we should talk about him too, since at least I've heard about him and he's running. You know, even though he is in the same party with Professor Moghalu. This issue that happened, this event that happened, did not allow me, because I said I was going to find out if AAC still stands in the Sowore's quota, but I think he does. Somebody that would have asked him from yesterday was also the person that I saw this post on his page. So I said, bro, send me the what happened. So it sent me the video, and and this happens to be a Muslim also, a Muslim, but from the Yoruba side. Even though I learned that there are some other Yoruba people that have also been breeding all this kind of nonsense, they are gradually preaching and funding it, and preaching hate against other religions, even in Yoruba land. Because we are keep saying, Yorubas are the best, Yorubas are the best. I hope that in the next 5 years, we are not going to be witnessing this in different streets around the Yoruba state. So I hope, anyway, let's not talk about that anymore for now. We've spent the first 35 minutes on it. So Sowore is contesting again. Is not new to any of us. So I'm going to start with Michael. What's your opinion, concerning the candidacy of Sowore as a person? Michael, are you still there?
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes,
Sorry.
yes.
Okay. Well, as for and others, I think when we look at it from a legal point of view, of course, they have the, what do you call it, the constitutional right to contest elections. It is within the purview of the law, and none of them so far has been found wanting not to, or let me say, there is no court injunction stopping any of them from contesting elections in the country. However, when we look at the situation in the country today, particularly the economic hardship, because by history, knowing who Sowore is right from his days of struggles in the University of Lagos, and how he has become, let me permit me to use the language, a dry bone hanging in the neck of some politicians, because when we look at it, he's more like a quote and unquote a headache for some people, and using his media influence and the likes. And I know some people, he has strong friends who are legal luminaries actually coming to his rescue anytime he's dealing with the federal government or fighting with federal government on issues. And likewise, vis-a-vis Professor Kingsley Moghalu is a technocrat, having worked with the United Nations and then working with the CBN for some numbers of years, serving as a deputy CBN governor under Sanusi Lamido Sanusi Khalifa. So all of this put together, of course, make them qualified to actually contest the election as well, because even when we look at it, you really don't have to be a scholar, you don't have to be a technocrat, you don't have to have academic profile before you can become the president of Nigeria. And that's one of the things that I really admire about the position made by the House of Rep Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, some times ago. He really emphasized on that no, education is actually needed to improve the state of things in the country. So, looking at all of these factors, I think that we have people that are sound in their own right and can actually lead the country. But however, we should also consider the factors that may militate against them, because these are set of guys that really do not have the financial muscle to challenge those that are really to challenge those that are jostling for same office together. And money determines the tone of politics in this part of the world. And now, if you follow the news lately, we are now being told that the value of a naira has actually gone up again. I mean, it has gone down again. The parallel market, I think naira now is sold for about 578 or 580 naira. So a mop-up is going on in preparation for the primary elections, as alleged though, and of course, which is bound to be true, that the politicians are beginning to mop up the forex market in the country in preparation for their primary elections. So this is becoming a year in, year out trajectory that we are not going to get out of it anytime soon, which therefore tells us that men of good conscience who actually have intention perhaps to lead Nigeria right will still continue, possibly, permit me to use that language, to struggle or to fight some of these actors, because they really do not have the strength. And even I heard lately that even to become a delegate for APC PDP now in some states goes as high as between 5 to 10 million naira. So telling us that money is still the tune that dictates the affairs of politics in this part of the world. So when we look at this, all of this holistically, I have always given narration that as far as Nigeria is concerned, Nigerians are being treated as far a naked fowl at the mercy of a wicked farmer for corn. Now the feather of the fowl has been removed, stripped naked of the feathers, and at the end of the day, you are thrown. The fowl is being thrown on the ground. You have no option. When the farmer calls on you to come and take corn, you still have to run back to that farmer to pick the corn, because you are more or less helpless. You need to grow another feather. So you need money to feed yourself, even if you eat today and forget tomorrow, and which is a mentality that has become a trend in our politics. So I see all of this still taking place in this coming election, and I won't say I pray, because I can say I only hope that the narration will change, but how soon is what you and I may not really be able to say. So we will encourage Kingsley Moghalu, we encourage Sowore to continue to make the push, irrespective of whatever confrontation, challenges they may face. There are some people that they are working so hard to get their minds renewed. And perhaps in the next couple of years, they may continue to renew the mind of people. If at all they can't, I won't say they can't, at least as for now, the indices is clear. The handwriting is visible to the blind on the wall, that we may still have to confront this situation for a reasonable period of time. But let us continue to hope that the narration will change. Thank you.
Okay, Michael, thank you. I wanted to ask a question that's based on this comment that somebody posted here from YouTube. JB, he said Kingsley Moghalu and Sowore should cooperate. Tosin, do you think these two can
Okay,
work together?
is that directed to me?
No, Tosin,
Okay.
do
Yeah.
you think these two, do you think they can work together? And if they can, what will they achieve with it? How much can they achieve with it?
Actually, when when we were mentioning the names of the aspirant, that's one thing that pop up in me. Uh, all the young aspirants should look forward to working together. That is the area they fail in 2019, because a lot of their supporters were waiting for them to merge. They had series of meetings too, but eventually that couldn't work out. But in this coming election, they should look to work together and merge. This will boost their uh, their political worth as individuals, and this will also boost their support base, because everyone will bring their supporters, and even new people will begin to support them because they have seen a level of seriousness in them. Our people talk say, when you piece to one direction, then it will bring foam. But when you piece up and down, it will not bring foam. So So why now?
Don't
So
start again.
these new uh, contestants, these new politicians, they need to come together. If not for anything, they should remember that PDP were boasting that they will go to be in power for 60 years. Before 2013, 2014 margin, PDP were boasting that they will be in power for 60 years. It takes big politicians to merge together their political parties. Three major political parties merge: CPC, ZAD, which one is the
ACN, ACN,
ACN, CPC, and one other party. They have to merge together, join
NPP.
force. Good, thank you very much, sir. They had to merge together to form a force
No,
to
ANPP.
unseat
Sorry, is it ANPP? Sorry, ANPP.
AMPP. Yeah, AMPP. They had to march together to unseat the PDP that were boasting, even with their corruption, they are boasting that they will remain there for 60 years. So if these new guys are not doing all this, they are just coming out to waste their own time, to waste our own time, to dash the hope of young Nigerians, because young Nigerians have hope in a lot of them. And the last election, they didn't march together, and that break the heart of many Nigerians. And if they don't do that this time around, they are going to dash the hope. They should leave ego aside. They should leave claiming to be an angel. They should leave it aside. Everybody should leave their differences aside and work together. If truly they are fighting for the betterment of Nigerians and the future of Nigerian kids, they should leave their ego aside and work together, irrespective of their differences. We should not expect everyone to be like us. Even twins, they have different behaviors. So we should not expect anyone to be like us. And we should not think that when we work with somebody, so people should not think.
I begin to ask you to interpret this your Yoruba now. This is your adages.
So people, because some of them in the last election, some of them were claiming if they associate with some people, they will get them corrupt. See, in every areas of our life, we go out every day, we mingle with people that are corrupt, people that are bad, this and that, but we chose to be who we are. So the fact that you want to merge with somebody will not say automatically you are a bad person too. So they should leave their differences. If they don't merge together, I don't see any good result coming out from them. The young politicians, they need to merge force together. Some people are calling themselves third force. Some people are saying they are alternative force. All these people have to come together. If you don't come together, merge, form a force to unroot APC and PDP, they will not go out of there. They have the money, they have the power, they have the influence, they have the talks. But we have the youth. So we need to work on the numbers we have as the youth and the power and the number of youth that are thirsty for a true change. We saw what happened during NSAS. That can be transformed into the political scene in Nigeria. But this youth, they need people like this, like Professor Moghalu. They need people like Sowore. They need people like Madam Ngozi. They need them to be the figurehead. They need to see these people working together, forming a merge. Then things will happen.
All right, thank you very much. Now, I want to ask Timileyin, Dr. Bolu, I'll come back to you very shortly. I want to ask Timileyin, because Tosi mentioned the issue of NSAS. Do you think that any of Sowore, Moghalu, and this other Dr. Ayodele, do you think they can capitalize on this and get some attention from the young people? Or do you see them doing it currently?
Thank you very much for that question. I think it is possible. The only person that was doing it was Sowore, because I saw him many times in Abuja showing up for NSAS protesters and then using his social media influence through Sahara reporters, to hear some of the clips emanating from such events. But I think if we are even talking about measure for for political purpose, especially for 2023, is too late now. It is too late. The problem we have with these budding politicians is that they wait until the last 2 or 1 year before election before they begin to make their noise. Meanwhile, I think Sowore was doing a great job at a point, but it became silenced. I don't know, maybe because of the court cases and all that. But there is social media, and that's the purpose social media could serve. I saw Professor Kingsley Moghalu coming out maybe late last year, towards 2023 election. You don't have the money, you don't have the platform, you don't have the structure. Then many things could have been, going on before that this time. And again, I've never even heard about Dr. Favour. I'm sorry. But that's the truth. So we do not win elections based on, okay, this is my name, this is my CV, this is what I have. No, Nigerians, especially Nigerians, don't do that. And the elite, the political class up there, they are really doing a great job because they hijacked the NSAS movement. So, and they are actually ruling this country by dividing it along many lines, tribal, religious. Before the recent development of 100 million, let me say, registration fee for, I think it's about a nomination, I don't know.
Nomination form for APC, yeah.
APC, people were talking about Moghalu, especially people down south. They were talking about Professor Moghalu, but immediately Peter Obi came out. Everything just went off. That is to tell you how people can easily change. You understand? Especially, I used in the last couple of, let me say, the last 3 months, I used Twitter very well. So I saw what changed. So Kingsley Moghalu, many people were actually showing him off, trying to put it on their social media, on their deep display pictures. But the moment Peter Obi started talking about if he wants to run, he will run. People just change. That is to tell you that if you do not have structure and you aim to become, maybe, or you want to contest a political position, people will run after people who have structure, because I cannot waste my time. I cannot waste, my resources on a political struggle that I know will not be fruitful. And that is the truth. So if these people could have met, if they had merged before, and they were working. In fact, I saw their merger working. If they had merged in 2019, I did not see it working then, but it might start to work now. So it is even too late if they are starting to come together now. Their gathering will not amount to anything. I'm sorry to say right now, it will not amount to anything. It is the truth. It could sound bitter, but it is the truth. What I'm saying is that there is a lot of advantages in collaboration. But many of these budding politicians also want to rule. And that is the truth. You cannot remove it from the reality. They really want to rule, and they don't see themselves coming up as a vice to another person. And I think that's one of the major issues there was. And it could also be an ideology thing. They might not have the same ideologies, but there is concession, right? People should collaborate, and that is the way out, because nobody will follow you. You don't have money to throw around. You don't have people. You don't have. How would you convince the youth? And the truth is that the youth of these days, they are very reasonable when it comes to. Nobody wants to die for anything. Nobody wants to die. So I don't know if they had come from the north, maybe people could be so radical, to follow them because they believe in their mandate, they stand on their mandate, they believe their ideology, and they feel like they could bring about, some change. But
that did not give a Buhari presidency for many years now.
But that still worked for him eventually, even though, the truth is that Buhari had the goodwill from the north, but he didn't have the structure. That was the problem Buhari had. You cannot, there is no election in the south outside AD and PDP. In the south here, there is no election. And before you know it, Labour Party of Mimiko will start regrouping either to AD or PDP before you. So that is the people follow is either A or B. And it is a matter of structure. And that was the reason why Buhari would not win in 2014 and 2015. In 2010, he would not win. In 2011, rather, he would not win because he had the numbers, but the structure did not go beyond the north. But now, when he merged, and that I really love the example Citizen Oluwatosin gave, because the merger of CPC, AMPP, and AC really led to what we have today, even though it is not palatable. But that was what ousted Jonathan. So if we feel like Moghalu and on my own, people will trust me with their votes, I'm sorry. Because some people have been paid regularly to just vote for who they know will not do anything. So that is the truth, and that's the sad reality. So I see them, harnessing youth resources, people, but they have to have structure, and you have to convince people beyond reasonable doubt. So I don't see anything happening, even if they regroup, if they merge now against 2023. No, people are even focused on. Okay, now the good thing, I mentioned something. I'm very sorry for taking your time. Another thing is that I mentioned that the current political class now, they are ruling us by dividing us. Now, everybody forgot about all the evil APC had done in the last 7 years. And we are always talking about, no, it's not Tinubu, no, it's Yoshibajo. No, that is to tell you that people already have a mindset that these people are going to win again. So their measure will not amount to anything right now. So maybe they should start regrouping for future, But this, I like to be realistic sometimes, and that's the truth. I don't like to be very economical with the truth.
Okay, thank you. I want Dr. Bolu to give us his opinion on these candidates. And then after that, I'm going to ask us a general question. And this question is, do you think democracy failing in Nigeria? And then what is the role of these young aspirants? What could their role be? So that will be after Dr. Bolu. We take turn on that, and then we perhaps close.
Thank you very much. For disclosure, I have a close relation with Dr. Favour, who is just 40 anyway. He's now up to 50. He's the youngest of them all. 3 years ago, Sowore came to my city for fundraising. I went there. I listened to him for 1 hour. I was there in the hall for 1 hour because I want to have an idea of who he is. And of course, I've read about Dr. Moghalu, as it were. In terms of public precedents, I mean, those who have who operated in the public sphere, out of the three of them, you will rate Moghalu as having the highest pedigree, having been in the public sphere, I mean, having worked as a technocrat. I mean, to rise to the position of a deputy governor in the central bank, that's a good thing for him. And of course, he's also a professor. He teaches in some universities in US, so he has that scholarly pedigree as well. If we have been practicing a parliamentary system whereby you win an election, you can become, if your party wins the majority, you can become the prime minister or you can become a minister. I would have said, okay, a parliamentary system would be more suitable for Sowore than a presidential system. Sowore, with all due respect, I listen to him, I say gap in his administrative capability. But somebody that will be a good good at legislating good laws. I mean, for the society, but as an executive person, with except the constitution is changed with the kind of executive power that the constitution gives to the president that makes him almost second to God, I will be a bit hesitant to recommend Sowore for the presidential system. That's my personal opinion. Yes, of them, I will also unbiasedly say that we have not really tested Dr. Favour, as it were, in the public sphere. If we are looking for fresh blood that is maybe not tainted, maybe somebody like I used last week, somebody who may not have, whose sleep may not have been rubbed with either the least soup or oil, maybe we can say it's him. The truth, I want to also align with Timile's position that merger is a bit late. What we'll be talking about is very probably coalition, not real merger, because what APC did was real merger. They really merge political parties. But if you look at ENSA, somebody mentioned whether they can leverage on ENSA. Remember, during the ENSA protests, Sowore was even embarrassed. Some of the organizers said they don't want to see him there. Because when they went there with Revolutionary Now, they cordoned him off. I hope you guys remember that. So that again,
Yeah,
that
it
gives
that was just one guy who maybe.
well, as far as they know, that guy was representing him, kind of. So then, yes, the foundation of our system has been divide and rule. That's the truth. I've written about this a lot of the time. The divide and rule has been one of the Lugard legacy, and we have not won ourselves out of it. Our politicians use that a lot, and I don't see anything stopping them. The only thing that can probably stop them, maybe people's revolution, not necessarily the type to raise advocating. I mean, revolution is not something you plan. I mean, spontaneous people's revolution, which will change everything, or whatever can give us the people's constitution. So that could make that I could make that happen. The same youth demographic that you are looking at are also working actively for the major parties already. All the fight on social media. Ooh, they are not people of my age. Me, you see me that you are going to give 15,000 to BB or 50,000 to go and be ranting on Facebook or Twitter. No, it are still within this population of the youth that we are talking about. And again, I kept on saying, 3/4 of this youth that we are looking at don't vote. Let's say today now, because of the noise around PVR or what they call it. What is the voters registration
PVC.
card? PVC. Let's say maybe 30% of them or 40% of them have PVC. Even half of those 40% will not vote. They will be there that day watching, maybe fighting on if this day that they are playing election. I mean, they are playing football in UK. They will be fighting who is a better team, who is the best team, Chelsea or Man U or Man City or Arsenal. So I think there are a lot of problem ourselves. We with the youth, the so-called youth, are not even ready to take charge of the country. So and if they are not ready, because it's the same youth that will collect 5,000 as Tosin said last week, something I said by Edibo, things like that. So they are still the same youth who are collecting this. And yeah, though that will cut across many old people also cut across. Older people are even more loyal in voting than the youth. So that's what I'm trying to say. Without forget about the jokes. The foot soldiers that the politicians use, some of them are youth. A lot of them are youth. These are the people who take order from the world leaders. So yes, coalition with strong backing they can upset the election. And what can be done in this 2023 by the coalition of the young something is to ensure that maybe there is no clear winner. It can happen. There may be no clear winner. So if there is no clear winner, then we can think of other things. Maybe conduct another election, or now they can ask, okay, actually this is time for the youth to take over. So those are the kind of things you can do. The three of them, like, we have their own advantages. Dr. has youthfulness on his side, which is the kind of thing we are looking at. But in terms of deep pedigree, I'm not campaigning for any of them, so don't misplace me. In terms of deep pedigree of what they have done and intellectual capability, I want to say that Moghalu toward them above. But in terms of people oriented, we may say, even if it means that developing the hemp industry in Ekiti State, I think we have a higher advantage. Yes, that's economic. At least it made us to know that we have the best hemp in Ekiti State, so which we are not utilizing. So if it's that one that that we do, he has, in terms of consistent advocacy for the people, I give that to Sowore. He has been consistent. He has suffered for the people. But my concern is, like, how do you transform from a non-opposition leader? You would be a good opposition leader to become an executive leader. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. It's just that when you see a good secretary in an office who has been very efficient, and you now decided to make admin manager or head of HR, most of the time it turns out to be a disaster. I'm talking of empirical evidence now. But it's consistent advocacy. We cannot ignore it. We cannot ignore it. There are some methods we may not like. There are some statements that it will make you know this guy doesn't know administration well enough. But there's one thing about him. He is consistent. He's consistent in me. Even when I listened to him when he came to my city, he had understanding of the issues plaguing us as a people, as a nation. He had the issue. He was abreast of the issue, but most of his solution, show that there's a gap, in his administrative capability. Again, that is my own sincere opinion. So, yes, if they are going to work together, how would they arrange it? Who takes charge of what? So that's what we are going to ask ourselves. If we need energy, because there's going to be a lot of work, you can say, okay, give it to Dr. Favour. If you need economic understanding and depth, I say give it to Moghalu. If you are looking at good legislation based on consent advocacy, give it to Sowore. Have I confused anybody? You are muted, Paul.
Okay, sorry. I did not think you have confused us, but I'm just looking at how that would be possible. You said something that if we can get a people's constitution in Nigeria, and I quickly wrote down in my paper on my screen here, that is it really possible for us to get a people's constitution in Nigeria based on what is on ground? If we are not going to be deceive ourselves, do you think we will ever get, maybe let's look in the next 10 years with this kind of structure? Anyway, somebody was asking Timilani, what does it mean by structure? What do you think we can get a people's constitution? Because we all agree, even many politicians agree, that this constitution is not our constitution. Yes.
There
Do
are
you
two
think we would
things.
ever get to a place where we can agree to say, okay, we want to design our own constitution?
There are two pathways. Number one, the deliberate pathway. But before that can happen, we must have the ability and the willingness. The ability is, of course, the intellectual, the organization, and all the other things to do that, which I think we have in abundance. But the problem is the willingness. Do we have the political will to do that? That is what is in doubt. It's not the ability to write, to fashion, or to no, uh, to initiate a new constitution. The ability
Yeah, I
is
mean,
there, but
I'm not talking about the skill.
the willingness is the issue here.
Yeah,
On the second,
and that is the question that I'm asking. Do you think we can come to an agreement because you need a consensus? This constitution, as far as I'm
you
concerned,
don't need
I
a
believe it is
consensus.
working
You
for
don't
some
need a
people.
consensus. You see, sometimes this is the area where I love oligarchy. You need a few people who are determined and who have sufficient power and influence to drive to become the driving force to achieving that.
Yeah,
So
just
if you
like
can,
we have a few in the National Assembly who cannot ever do that.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
mean,
People
this set
who
of
have
people.
the power, who have the power and the influence to do it. So if you have people that are determined to do that, and we can get it done. The
So how
second
will that
part
be
where
if a few people are done it? If I mean this
no,
one we currently have.
this is how it works. The few
What we
people we
currently
need,
have was done by a few people, and we reject it. I mean, we are rejecting it.
a
So
few
if we have a
people.
few
I
people
am
come
not
up with
talking.
another one,
No, when I'm talking of a few people, I am not talking of 2 or 3 people that were lodged in hotel for several months to write constitution. That's not the kind of a few people I'm talking about. Even the few people I'm talking about lead the process. They might not even they might not even be the one that is writing. Then they bring out the brains that can do this thing, or they may go through whatever process they want to do. It's just to initiate and make sure that they sustain that process until it is achieved. That's the kind of a people I'm talking about. If you are looking for consensus you have mentioned, we will wait till that kingdom come and we never get. Democracy is not about consensus. You don't get consensus in democracy. What you get in democracy is the concept of the majority. So when the majority support it, and don't forget that the majority we are talking about, more than 95% of that majority are followers.
okay,
That
let's
when you
move
see
forward.
people that lead them in that direction, they follow. Then the second option is like we wait for when the constitution is become a parity when the system has completely collapsed. But that may take centuries to happen.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Paul, sorry, I don't know if I can be permitted to speak quickly to that.
Okay,
Maybe
quickly,
before we
please.
move forward. It's actually getting dark here gradually. Yes, on the issue of getting possibly a new constitution, this has been debated, and I think Ariafe Balola put forward an argument lately that generated some uproars as to okay, uh, having an interim government, and some scholars, legal scholars, also they've argued that there are certain clauses in our constitution that actually sections of the constitution that give that actually should I say look or rather foresee a situation that Nigeria is currently the path that Nigeria is currently moving, and which therefore means that okay, at any point in time, if the willpower is there, just like the village boy posited, we can actually do this. However, I think we need to be very more critical and objective that this is something that may be quite unrealistic. When we look at it now, we have, year in, year out, or administration in, administration out, we have talked about, should I say, restructuring the country. And at every point in time, you see them coming with their own definition of restructuring. And the real restructuring we are talking about is actually, should I say, the evolution of power, going back to one of the elements is going back to regional government, as it were, as it was in the past. But this will be somewhat impossible because of the contending forces in the country. And you will see they will just lip gloss all of these things, and that's how the administration will end. And summary, let me put forward I mean, an observation I noted. Recently, I had opportunity of reading through the summarized version of some of the national documents we had: the Oputapane report, the Oronsaye report, the 2014 National Confab report, and some other documents as we had them. As we have them. You see, these are very rich documents that if Nigeria, our government, we have serious minded people in government, the implementation of these reports alone is actually a way of setting Nigeria on the path of, if not total redemption, I think redemption to a reasonable level. So, what is lacking is a political will. And as far as we continue to have this set of people year in, year out in our respective political offices, I doubt if such reports will be considered, because it will actually affect some structures in the country, and it may set some people on the path of political extinction. So I see that not happening, and if attempt is made, it will continue to be subverted. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Michael. I quickly jotted something again, and I want us to close shortly. But since we've mentioned about the issue of constitution now, I want to say, under this current constitution, which a lot of us has condemned, rejected, we're still complaining about, do you think a Sowore or Moghalu presidency can do anything differently than we are currently seeing? Tosin and Timileyin. Tosin, want to go first?
No problem. I can go first or I come
Yeah,
later.
yeah, okay. Then after
Okay.
that, I want Timileyin. After Timileyin, Dr. Bolu will answer the question regarding whether Nigeria has been failed. Democracy is failing in Nigeria. All right, Tosin.
Okay. Now, under this constitution we have, if a Sowore or a Moghalu presidency will work,
Yeah, can they
it's a
do
yes.
miracle?
It's a
Can they
yes. No.
can they achieve much?
Yes. No. The reason for yes that under this constitution they can still do something is because even the constitution, every one of us is faulting or we are faulted. If that constitution, no matter how bad it is, if they are even following it, Nigeria will have been better than we have now. The point is they are not even following anything. And the reason for the no is if they will become presidents, they might not be able to even become president under this constitution, because or they might become president and they will be frustrated because they need a large number of their party party people in each of the houses and to govern well. So they will have problem with that. The problem now is this. See, we even have something on ground that political power and political will is the problem. We have something in this constitution we are faulting. There is still something. The crumbs we have inside, if they will follow it to the letter, this country, the nation will still be better. But we have a set of politicians that only care about themselves and their family and nothing about their citizens. The people we have there now, they say if they restructure, we have some people in that house now. If a senator is complaining Nigeria to you, or you are watching them on Channels TV, a senator is complaining about Nigeria, you'll be asking yourself, I thought these people have power to even remove the president. They will be lamenting, they will be complaining, instead of them to use their power, the power the people have given them. They will be complaining like you and I on the streets, like we are in the newspaper stand, we are complaining about the country. They will be complaining about the country. These are people we have given power to go and represent us. They just get there and start collecting money. They don't throw away their power and coming back to complain like us. If it is to complain, we can complain also now. They should leave complaint for us. They should just do the job. So now the constitution we have, who will change it? These people there. The fact is the constitution empowers them. The constitution, the irregularity that is working, that is in Nigeria today, is feeding a lot of people. The way it is feeding them, it is feeding thousands and hundreds of their supporters also. That is why you see, you post on social media, you attack any one of them. One guy, we just from nowhere, we just come and attack you. He doesn't even know that politician directly, but the irregularity that is happening in Nigeria, all the shenanigans happening in Nigeria is feeding him, and he doesn't want that country to be better. In the next 10 years, can that constitution change? How will it change? Sometimes when you think about Nigeria, you just think, or you just talk, and just keep quiet, because where will the solution come from? Everybody's asking. And who knows? Hopefully a revolution will happen. A planned one, an unplanned one. Anyhow, maybe even the Sokoto one will escalate and throughout the country. And if we are fearing, if you are scared of crisis or violence, things will not get better. The set of politicians we have in Nigeria today, they are not the ones that will relinquish power anytime soon. I heard that there is protest in one country, in Sri Lanka, and the president or the prime minister has resigned. I say, this will never happen in Nigeria, especially because of protest. Lassa, it's just protest.
Power.
You only power. So these people, are they ready to go? The issue is becoming complicated. We also talk about if they are merging the young aspirants, the role of young aspirants. When they merge, it's not automatically victory, but when they merge, it will cause an uprising of the youth. It will create a kind of awareness. It will ginger the political awareness in the youth populists of Nigerians to take their country back from the holocaust of the politicians.
Okay. Thank you, Tosin. Tim Lane, before I wanted to make a comment. As Tosin was talking, before you answer the question, I wanted to say, Baba Deboye, I saw a video where Baba Deboye went to visit, is it Nasarawa state governor? And Baba was saying that, don't mind them, religion is not a problem in Nigeria. It is only God that will come and help us to solve this problem.
Baba knows, or maybe he doesn't know. God don't fix country. Citizens fix country. Prayers has never fixed any country in the world. Only citizens.
I know. I was expecting what the governor would say. The governor says, yeah, I agree with you, Baba. You are saying the right thing.
What will he say now? What will he say?
Oh my God. Nigeria has become anyway. So Simla, go ahead.
Thank you.
We need God to come and fix this country for us, like he did fix Dubai.
Well, so talking about constitution, I think what gives us the assurance that even with a better constitution, that these folks will do well or will do better, even with a better, in fact, let us import the Canadian constitution or the American constitution and bring it to Nigeria. What gives us the hope that they will do better? This thing is a thing of the people, of who we are. So while I would not generally say, oh, the constitution is bad, I mean, there are still if they follow it to the letter, as Sizolu Atosi said, I mean, it was the same constitution that Yaradua was using. Was it not the same constitution? So the point is, it is, in fact, if they come in with this current constitution now, while I still have at the back of my mind that I don't trust anybody named called politician. So even if God gives us constitution from heaven, like this is my own constitution, use it. This is my own system of governance, use it. I still don't trust politicians. But with this current constitution, I wouldn't say they would do much. I wouldn't say they would do much. My reason is that even if you are good and kind-hearted as a leader, okay, is it education? You allocate enough fund. There are people, cankerworms, somewhere waiting for the funds to drop. And that is what the constitution enables. There are lots of loopholes in the country, and these people are capitalizing on it. So with this constitution, I don't see them. They will do fairly okay if they are meant to do okay, if they are meant to do great, if it was their plan to do good. Yeah, we might see fair, we might see a little change. But the point is, a miracle, no. In fact, I don't expect anybody to the Baba Adeboye that we called if he should become president with the current situation of the country now, or an angel from heaven. I don't see anything. I don't see any much difference happening, honestly.
We will hire Michael to come and preach hope to us. It is hope that everybody is selling.
Honestly, so it has to do, and the point is, another thing about the Nigerian government is that people leave governance to the people and to the politicians. Like, it is a collective thing. Yes, they make the law, they do all of those things, but there is, as we have rights, we also have responsibilities as citizens.
Yeah, but that's why we are playing our citizens.
How
role.
many? What is the ratio of the Nigerian population that does this?
Well, we are encouraging it at least.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, there is a place of right, and there is a constitutional right, and there is a place of responsibility. But how many Nigerians? How many? We might say yes, they are frustrated because of whatever the leaders are doing, and that's why they are not also showing they are not being responsible as
Nigerians have been told to forget about Nigeria and focus on heaven. So people are just waiting. I learned about 2 weeks ago there was one pastor who came to Ekiti say his people should come and pay 350,000. He's organizing vehicle that will take them to heaven.
I'm robbers. So I don't see these folks doing any miracle. Honestly, yeah, they might do well if they want to. They might do fairly okay. But don't forget that there is this legislative arm of the government somewhere, to counter whatever they are bringing forth. So I don't know. And again, let us not forget that when Buhari was coming, there was hope. This same hope, there was hope. So Moghalu, Sowore, or Dr. Favour, Professor Moghalu, or Dr. Favour might get there tomorrow, and the hope will just be dashed as well. We have not tested them anyways. So, so there is needful to give them a chance. But I honestly, if we are talking about this candidate, I think there should be more issue-based discussions on how we can cause a disruption in the political space in Nigeria. Honestly,
yeah, I guess we should do that. But then it's almost like we are daydreaming. Anyway, let the village boy answer the question and we close.
Oh,
the question again is democracy failing in Nigeria?
Okay.
Then what is the role of these young aspirants?
The basic assumption here, if somebody is failing, which means it has passed before, right? So can we say democracy has passed in Nigeria before? I've written that. I don't want to contradict myself that democracy doesn't seem to work in Africa. I've never seen where it works. And it's reason because we have not developed probably our own democracy. So most of the democracy has a kind of cultural undertone that are alien to our system. And we try to force it on ourselves. And that is the area where the Constitution amendment, whatever people constitution will take care of. So I believe when the constitution is defective, even when you build the institution on that constitution, it becomes defective. So that is the area I would likely disagree with Timilein. One of the things that create loopholes today is because we have weak institutions. Because rather than build institutions, we build people. We build, and that is one of the things that the constitution can change. One of the strong points in US is because they have most of their work grounded, good foundation laid in the constitution and its various amendments. So that is why over time, the system has developed so much that an individual cannot override it. Today, the constitution gives so much power to the president, the constitution of Nigeria, that there is almost no checks and balances. And that is why a head of Senate will go and pledge allegiance to the president. Because if he doesn't do that, they won't allow him to succeed. They won't allow him to function. That is why today, which other country do you see where university will go and be begging government for salary negotiation? So there are so many fundamentals, the basic fundamentals that the constitution, allows, which ordinarily is an aberration. The government will just wake up and say, okay, all the salary of university lecturers should come from a particular, it's federal government that will manage the salary structure. They will use a particular package. Universities are supposed to be independent, even when government sponsors them. They're supposed to have a life of their own. They have their own direct allocation. So when you look at all these issues that we face today, as a student, why you sign in for a 4-year undergraduate course? You are spending 6 or 7 years. Because every time the government cough, the university, begin to shiver. Why is it not the condition that we are allowed that even private university has to seek admission through JAMB, a government institution? Why is that? All these are constitutional issues where ordinarily the constitution should have empowered, or the state should be in charge of education complete from beginning to the end. Is it not the constitution that we are allowed that some states, a student in Yobe who scored 20 gains admission, and a student in Anambra who scored 289 cannot gain admission? Is it not those are constitutional issues?
Deborah, you'll be giving this Yoruba Nation some people talk now.
No, we have to say the fact. We have to say the fact. The truth that if Yoruba Nation becomes a reality, I have no choice. I become a citizen automatically. They can't drive me.
Baba does not call now.
No, they won't drive me. Though I believe that if we make the system work, Nigeria is in a better position than when we disseminate ourselves. But if things are going to continue this way, if you kill a young Christian and you say people, because they are protesting that you killed her in the most barbaric way, the next thing is you go and burn their churches. What's that? Who does that?
They're just telling them that you are not wanted here. You can go ahead and do your work.
The Constitution is faulty, and it gives room to some of these barbaric acts. It's the Constitution that will make a governor of a state that ordinarily should be in charge of the resources of the state and contributing to the center. We will now go and be building government lodge in Abuja because they have to always go and see president to go and beg for money. This is ridiculous. there are a lot of problems which we are not thinking that the constitution changes can amend. It's the same constitution that will make a state that is breaking bottles of beer. I'm not an alcoholic, I don't drink alcohol, to be collecting the largest amount of VAT collected from, say, the sales of alcohol. And you are saying the constitution doesn't matter. It matters. So democracy is based on principle of check and balances. Our constitution, number one, is anti-democratic because it gives too much power to the center, gives too much power to the president, that is more like we are operating a feudalistic system. So democracy has not passed ab initio, let alone failing. So we have not gotten our democratic foundation right. The good thing that, okay, from 1999, we have uninterrupted democratic practice, so to say. It's more in the name, not, in implementation. And the madness that is happening at the center, permit me to use that word, as we carry out to the state, we learned of a state governor who asked a local chairman to sign for 400 million and gave him 10 million. I may not get the figure right. Why? Because everybody sees themselves as Kabiyesi in their territory. What is the business of a local government chairman to go and be prostrating to greet the governor so that they can give money to his local government? But you see, the constitution allows all these errors. Today, a governor can impose a king on a town. If the kingmaker say this is the next person to be the king, and is not a member of the political party of the governor said no, go and bring another candidate. This one cannot be king. It's not from that town, no. So we are not yet fully democratic. And you cannot pass an exam that you did not sit for. Rather, can you fail it? So we have not started. We are just about starting to become democratic.
Yeah,
so failure does not arise.
Okay, you would agree with me that even democracy, there is something wrong with it, especially because the majority always have to make the choice for the rest. And in most cases, from what we have seen, is that...
No, let me pause you. Don't give wrong information. Majority does not make the choice for the rest. What is saying that the choice that is made is the one that is supported by the majority. Even in any democracy, it's a few people. How many people are congressmen in the US, big as US is? Congressmen, how many of them? That makes the law.
I'm talking about a general election. I'm talking about general election. It is the populist. It is the most popular person.
It's a matter of choice. That's why people campaign, to convince you or confuse you to vote for them. And
just like Donald Trump can say all manners of things in the US, and people will queue behind him by the reason of the things that he was saying. That's why people can vote for Buhari despite what we know about him, even the second time, when we know he wasn't performing, because he can mobilize the majority. And the quality of the majority determines the quality of who they queue behind.
It is not simply black and white. It's not, there's no absolute in it. There is no absolute right or absolute wrong. It's the ability of a contestant to convince somebody to support him.
I agree.
And
I know. But I'm just saying that
because that ability is not there, you now service that ability by the Blasphemy mentality. So that's why Nigerian politicians service that ability.
Yeah, unfortunately, people like Sowore, Moghalu, and Favour, they cannot do Edibo Esebe. All right, they don't have 5,000 to share to all the maybe 25 million voters. And then you find out that these people who can afford it, they keep looking for people who would be, who would quickly take the 5,000 Edibo Esebe, like people like Michael, who would critically assess the quality of the candidate. He will not take 5,000. Even if he did take 5,000, he definitely will not vote for you. So that's what I'm saying, that the people that takes 5,000, 3,000 are the ones that are actually voting. And they are the ones that
I'm happy that you are mentioning that. Okay, let's use Michael as a case study now. He can make independent judgment on the suitability of a candidate based on his preferences.
Yeah.
But the question, will Michael vote?
Of course, Michael will vote. But what I'm saying is that
majority of Michaels will not vote. Only 10% of Michaels will vote.
Well, because the majority are not like Michael. The majority are like those people who killed Deborah in Kano, according to statistics.
That is why among the young contestants, the young aspirants, they should be raising voters' awareness among the youth, because we have a large number of youth that doesn't care about politics, about election, about voting. So, and these people are the one that is always at the receiving end at the end of the day, the youth, who are the ones at home now not going to the university, the youth, who are the one being killed by the stupid guys in Sokoto, a youth, who are the ones being harassed by police, are also youth, who are the ones. So there is a need for a continuous youth awareness that they should practice, they should participate in election, in getting their PVC and their vote. They have not been doing that before now, but we are not going to remain there for life. There's always a room, there's a chance for change. And we can use our beautiful platform here also to call for people to always go get their PVC, to let people know that if you don't vote, you don't go out to vote, you are empowering artisans or lokada thugs to choose for you. And whichever choice they make, that is the choice we have to stay with in the next 4 years. Will you allow them?
Permit me to you, we don't have to, when we talk of democracy, we don't have to undermine anybody. We don't have to actually use derogatory term against anybody. Artisan, politician, they are bona fide citizens, and so far they are 18 years of age, they are qualified to vote. It is not a crime for them to vote. Their status in life, it does not matter. So far, they have a voice, they are stakeholders in the society. They have the right to vote.
Okay, I completely agree with you, sir, but I have not
apologize to those people you are calling names for calling them names. They are human beings. They are citizens.
It is not derogatory word, sir. It is not a derogatory word saying someone is a thug if they are in the bus stop collecting money as Agbero. An artisan, I've once been making Ankara bag and shoe. I've once been an artisan. It is not derogatory word. That is what they are doing. That is what put food on their table. So it is not a derogatory word, sir. If anybody feel offended with that word also, my sincere apology. But see, what I'm saying is this. The fact that they are a citizen does not always also make their choice to be a right one. And what I'm saying is this.
They are more responsible because they are the one voting. They are the responsible
I'm not saying they are not responsible. What I'm saying is this.
Somebody can be responsible about not knowing what he's doing.
So that they are a citizen does not mean they are always right. What I'm saying is this.
I always like the conversations between the two of you. Honestly, that's what I'm just looking at.
The middle class Nigerian, the educated middle class Nigerian, they have created a void in the Nigerian. They have created a void in the Nigeria electoral system, in the voting system. Now, an average middle class in Nigeria, they have people serving them. We might not like the name they will be called. They have people they buy from in the markets. They have olokada that take their kids to school. Sometimes they don't want to drive their car out. They have bike men they call to come pick them. They have market women they call before going to market. If they have their number, that means they have called their relationship. They have market women they call that, yeah, Kiniko, I'm coming to market today. I don't want to stay long. Oh, please prepare my tomato and pepper. You know as I buy them. Prepare everything, 5,000 or 400. I'm coming to pick them. That means they have a kind of relationship. Now, when electioneering time is here, like we have it now, like we will soon be having campaigns and all that, these market men and women, these artisans, they are looking up to the middle class. This is what they say. They don't participate in election. So they leave these people to be void. The fact that they are citizens does not make them not to become prey in the hands of politicians when it is election time to buy their vote. But if the middle class Nigerians will create this support for other citizens, enlightening them, educating them, they call them Alakawe because they believe that they are more learned than them. So if they will create they will bridge this gap by they themselves participating in election, by they themselves wearing the party clothes, by they themselves going to join political party and participating in world election. Then we will begin to have a more synthesized voters, and not just anybody going to the polling unit on election day and people are there to buy their vote from them. If I am there, if I am the Olokada, and I used to carry you, Baba, sir, and we are there together on election day, we are in the same polling unit, and you see somebody talking to me to buy my vote, you will quickly call me, Tosi, madam alone, or Jeluni, will I listen to you or I will listen to them? That is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to bring anybody down. We are just saying that there's a void that needs to be filled, and it should not continue like this.
True, I agree with you. We cannot continue like this, let's hope that things change. Let's begin to give our final word as we go. For those who are just joining us, we've talked about the gruesome killing of Deborah in Kano yesterday because of blasphemy, and we have condemned it in the strongest term, and we are disturbed, we are disappointed, all of us here. And then we have talked about the younger aspirants. They are not that young. I mean, apart from Favour, who is about 40 years old, the other two are in their 50s, I believe. So we've talked about them. We've have our opinions there about them. I'd like to also say, if you are watching this and you would maybe I would like to also have my opinion on this people's platform, please do reach out to us. It's Opinion Sharer. It is Citizens TV, all right, where we talk about as citizens, we concern citizens. So if you want to hear your view here, please do join us. Send an email, or there's a phone number on our Facebook page. You can also reach us through that. So thank you. My guest tonight has been Dr. Bolu, Michael, Tosin, and Timlei from different parts of the world. So, but one thing that we all have in common is Nigeria, our beloved country. So let's begin to give our concluding message in 20 seconds, please. I'll start with Michael because I'm sure it's almost dark in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you so much, and it's nice to be here again. I will only say that the rise or the fall of any society is dependent on the type of leadership that is sustained. And I'm deliberate about the word sustained because for years we have repeatedly sustained the class of people that cannot lead Nigeria to the path of redemption. And I hope that's my own choice of language, that as irrespective of the happenings at the moment, that Nigerians will be conscious enough, will be critical enough to actually make a very critical choice, objective choice, as we gravitate towards the 2023 general elections. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Michael, Timilayin.
Thank you. It's been a wonderful time, and I just want to conclude with I know many people will not hear me, but at least if the budding politicians would hear me, I am advocating, I'm advising, I'm recommending that they start off their campaigns early enough, and then they should just, I think it was Michael that mentioned it, that youth advocacy is very important for participating in electioneering. So maybe that's the way to do it, because if you check the statistics, we have a large number of youths in Nigeria. So if they can harness this opportunity, if they can leverage it, it will be very, very great. And we had concluded also that while a merger might not be possible, coalition is still a possibility, and they could look into it. If there is a way you can cause disturbance in the political space, I don't mean negative anyways. Now, just to make sure that something happens differently this time around, please do it.
Thank you, Timilayin. Somebody is having his opinion here, and I wanted to show it. This person is probably some of our brothers, our Yoruba Nation brothers. He said, let everyone support the breakup of Nigeria. Well, you can't advocate that, but then
You
that's his
can't.
opinion.
Abi, you can.
I can't.
Okay, you can't. Okay, but he can.
Yeah. Yeah, he can, after all. That's why I projected his opinion. I want his opinion to be heard, So, Tosin.
Thank you very much. It's been a nice show today again, and thank you for the friends watching us also, or will be watching us. In country I stay, our president died yesterday, and we are mourning him. We are in a mourning situation here. The flag is flying at half mast because we have a president that have led the country from 2014 till up to yesterday. Although he has been in the sports for a while now, but he has been a great man, a great leader. He has literally transformed his country from going about to beg for money from other nations to placing them on the world map, that anywhere you are in the world, you will know that there's a country UAE, you know there's a country Dubai. And he was laid to rest same yesterday, and today a new president has been announced. It's a sad one uh, to we the residents, the citizens, even also of UAE. But it is a thing of joy to see somebody who has come to this world and make great impact, not only to his people, but to everyone of us that have seen this country as a home. So we are mourning him. Maybe that's why I'm wearing black today. We are mourning him. We pray he will find rest in the bosom of Allah. And for a closing, everyone that is watching us, please let us go and get our PVC. Let us go and get our PVC. Your vote counts. If your vote don't count, politician will not buy it with 5,000, with 10,000 on election day. If your vote don't count, politician will not be running around the country now to campaign. That's to campaign for your vote. It is because your vote count. That is why they are going from one state to another to campaign for it. That's a picture of the late president of United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Khalifa. Sheikh Khalifa, and he didn't die. The tallest building in the world is named after him, so he didn't die. He will live forever. He will live forever, and that is what people with great vision. That's what they do. That's why we continue to ask, what will be the legacy of Buhari if he leave office today? Absolutely nothing. If it were to be him that died yesterday, everyone on this platform know what will happen. Maybe I will not be here, also I will be in somewhere different, and Mary that that everyone know what will happen. So, so, so please let us go get our PVC. It is very important. We cannot afford to have PDP or APC win the next coming election. The youth, we have the numbers. Let us go get our PVC. Our vote counts. Your vote counts. Let us go get our PVC, please. And let us encourage everyone around us also to get PVC. And for the person that say we should support the breakup of Nigeria, I truly support that. I truly support that. If people cannot live together and grow together, then they should go their separate ways to allow for prosperity in every region. Nobody should drag everybody to drag everybody down. So thank you for the show. God bless everyone.
All right, thank you, Village Boy.
Well, thank you, Tosin, for the sermon of the month. That was very elaborate. We need leaders that live for the people and not leaders that live on the people. What we have today is leaders that live on the people. How do we get leaders that live for the people? I pray that, says that we should not pray. I hope that one day the system will throw up leaders that live for the people.
Hope is the product.
Hope is the product. Yes, actually, without hope, life is gone. Completely.
That's what everybody is selling.
And for those people in Sokoto, this is even, you did wrong, and you are even justify your wrong by even creating more mayhem. And what has the governor said about what is happening? Remember, the governor is also contested as a president. Somebody who cannot manage simple crisis in a state want to now rule Nigeria? No. Enough is enough. Enough of these things. If we want Nigeria to move forward, we have been several years lucky, but one day the bubble will burst. You are pushing these goats, pardon me to use that word, into the wall. The goat will turn one day and face you aggressively. Be warned. It cannot continue like this. Have a rethinking of how you are managing the people. They are humans like you. Don't use your privileged position to continue to oppress others. Be guided. Middle class, if they are still learning, educated people, the youth, your voice is your vote. When you don't exercise it, you have surrendered your responsibility. Participation and responsibility is what getting the right leaders. Don't sit on the fence. It is time to rescue our nation. And each vote genuinely cast, take us a step towards realizing that. Don't sit on the fence. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. For our viewers, we want to say thank you again for having been with us for almost 2 hours now. And we've talked about the killing, the gruesome killing of Deborah, which we've condemned again and again. It is wrong. It is wrong for anybody to die because of the so-called blasphemy. I don't care what that person say. Nigeria is a secular state, so I don't expect that this will be happening in Nigeria in 2022. So we've also discussed the issues of the younger contestants towards the 2022 three elections. That is Sowore, Professor Moghalu, Dr. Favour. And so we're expecting us as individual citizens to also do our own part, join politics. Join politics. Like Tosin would always say that monkey see, monkey do. That is, you when people see you, when somebody see you join politics, you would also be, you would naturally encourage other people to join politics. When they see you doing what is right, other people would also be affected by that attitude. So, and that's what we are doing on this platform, playing our own small role. At least maybe somebody will hear. So thank you very much. Don't forget to please help us share. If you are watching from YouTube, please do subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to share the video as well. We are hoping that maybe we will reach out to Sowore and Co to come to this platform and tell us their plan towards 2023. But next week we will be here again to discuss another social or political issue. Thank you very much for being with us. Bye-bye from now.